Hey there, fans. Little bit of talk about the Pac-10 conference as my UCLA Bruins were off this week. Wanted to talk about every team going down the stretch that is not named UCLA, and I just want to make a brief summary about all other 9 teams in the Pac-10. So here's a little runoff for every team. For USC, it's a very rough year for them. They went 8-4. Had that last-second loss to Arizona. I mean, shows that they're not invincible anymore. They won't be finishing even in the top 3 in the Pac-10 this year. Sorry that it's a down year for USC, but it's going to happen. For Oregon, you proved me wrong, and I'm impressed that they recovered from that opening loss to that punch by LeGarrette Blount, and they won. They were able to win pretty much, except against Stanford. They were able to win and get the Pac-10 title. So congrats to Oregon. For Oregon State, they're always overachieving every year, and they're still able to win, even though they didn't win it all. They played very well, and Mike Riley should be close to getting almost a contract for life up in Corvallis. So congrats to the Oregon State Beavers, even though they didn't get to the Rose Bowl. They put up a very good fight with Sean Canfield, very underrated quarterback. And then the Rogers brothers, both James and Jack Quiz, are very solid. For Washington, the honeymoon period has been very good for Sarkisian. They go 5-7. You got a few wins here and there. Got one on a fluke play against Arizona. Got to end the season well against Cal, and they upset USC. I know Aaron Corp was playing and not Matt Barkley, but still, the team played very well. So I'll give them a very good year for a honeymoon period. Almost got a bowl game if it weren't for UCLA having that close game, that close loss in their way. So congrats there. For Washington State, it's been down and ugly. Paul Wolf in his second year didn't do so well. They're lucky to have squeaked out a win because they didn't even have a lead in regulation for 1 second this entire season. They got blown out in almost every game. It was closer than last year, but they're lucky to have that one win against Southern Methodist University because they did it through a couple pick sixes and they came through in overtime. So congrats on that one win, but you're going to need a lot of help in the future. For Arizona State, they're definitely very desperate right now, and it's pretty much a must-win next season for Dennis Erickson, or else he'll get canned, and Arizona State could be doomed potentially. Their offensive line was down this year, couldn't put much on offense, but their defense was legit, and they got some competition at quarterback next year between a sophomore and a transfer from Michigan, Stephen 3. So good luck to the Devils there, but they're in danger because they've had 2 straight losing seasons. For Arizona, they've had a very successful year under Mike Stoops, and I would say congrats for beating USC to end the season. They've had some bad luck come their way with the game against Oregon and Washington. Could have won the Pac-10, but they just happened to lose those few games down the stretch. But still, just some bad luck, and if they weren't for that bad luck, they could have won the conference. Mike Stoops is off that hot seat, and the defense played very well this season for the most part. And they finally found their quarterback in Nick Foles. So you beat my expectations, Arizona. Bear down. For Cal, the season may have been a disappointment nationally, but they still had success because they were able to win games down the stretch, such as win against the Washington schools. They're also able to beat Arizona and upset them, if not upset Cal. This team wasn't completely done, even though nationally they were when they lost to Oregon and USC. Cal did fight back and was able to get those wins there. I know Javed Best, his season may be over, his college career, but Cal still had a decent season, even though they couldn't climb the mountain and win the national title or any of that. They did have with a winning record, at least. For Stanford, very good season, for the most part. Even though they lost a couple games, they blew out USC, embarrassed them. They may have lost the axe, but they did bust a lot of streaks, whether it was losing to Notre Dame, losing to UCLA. just losing down the stretch. They were able to win most of the games, and Andrew Luck was very efficient. Also, the receivers were very solid, and there was a lot of versatility among the secondary and wide receivers because they were able to play both positions, a lot of those guys. So congrats to Stanford on a very successful season. Also, Toby Gerhardt for Heisman. Wanted to notify that one more time for the Pac-10. The Pac-10 this year had a theme of running backs. Whether it was Chris Polk for Washington, whether it was LaMichael James for Oregon, Quiz Rogers for Oregon State, Toby Gerhardt for Stanford, Javid Best for Cal, Joe McKnight for USC, Nick Grigsby for Arizona. Those were some solid running backs throughout the Pac-10 conference this year. And the defense might have struggled, but the Pac-10 was very competitive. 6 teams deep, if you exclude UCLA, Arizona State, and the Washington schools. There were 6 teams deep this year. And, big props to the conference. But last but not least, I will just repeat again, Gerhardt for Heisman. Hope you've all had a good football season, and we'll see you later.